Fallout. Fallout never changes, is what I'd say if this game sucked, but it doesn't. So stay tuned for an in-depth review here. Fallout 4 begins with an in-depth character creation tool to allow for the playthrough of male or female protagonist, this time who is voiced instead of being silent. This game actually jumps you right into the action, starting you off as an ex-military soldier who just makes it into the vault in time, then is tricked via vault tech into thinking that Vault 111 would save him and his family, but in fact actually freezes the residents for over 200 years. The intro has been shown in trailers along with the first missions, so no need to worry about spoilers. It's more experiencing the game than worrying about spoilers, and spoilers really don't come until towards the end of the final main story. The main story itself doesn't actually contain massive spoilers until the very end, so really doing the main story doesn't really affect anything, but the side missions, exploration, and discoveries are the main draw of the game. It's not the main mission this time. After seeing your wife or husband killed and son stolen away from you, your journey begins after you escape the vault, and only to be introduced to a destroyed wasteland. The first things introduced and noticed would be the graphics. They are a huge leap forward, but the improvements are noticeable. God rays to the way the water reflects in the world, the graphical improvements are noticeable even if only subtly. Most people will probably compare this game to Fallout 3 as it is a direct sequel, and doing a side-by-side comparison, it can show the changes are slightly noticeable. For me personally, the biggest change is the load times, save times, and how the world is handled versus on the old generation. The main choice is between PC or console, and most of the differences come in frame rate and resolution rather than graphical changes. PC has a slight edge in both graphics, save and load times, and frame rates, though I have found that even on a PC I get dips into 30 FPS and lower in strange areas like cities or weirdly lit rooms. From monster machines running GTX 980s to my crossfired R9 270s, the game suffers from FPS drops often, no matter who's playing it. Lip syncing and textures and everything can be off at times as well. However, that being said, that would be the largest issue this game has. So as mods come out, not only will you be able to make your game look better, but with more and more driver updates and patches, the game will more than likely run smoother as well. Fallout 3 is so simple and easy to run now. So yeah, a large difference for me personally in the graphics department would involve the conversations that people will have with you. Gone is the standard look forward, talk, then decide the choices. Instead, there is a camera system in place that changes angles and sometimes to the point of absurdity, but it's still a nice alteration. Along with this comes different ways to interact with people as well. No longer is there time-stopping conversation, but rather you're able to talk while moving, looking around, etc. Speaking of time-stopping combat, this has been changed quite a bit as well and improved. Instead of stopping time with that, time is slowed a bit. Combat feels good with the update of allowing a player to use manual critical hits instead of relying on a dice roll, and it feels great. And allows for the player to choose when they want to use that critical, which can come in handy when combined with a certain perk or perks like Critical Banker or the Spirit of the Grim Reaper. The perk tree makes a great return with slight alterations. No longer do you have to choose from a string of perks to unlock what you want. Being a certain level with the certain amount of special stats will unlock any perk, and that can be great for certain builds and runs. Want to do a full luck run? VATS will benefit greatly from those perks. Tired of radiation? Endurance tree along with Aquaboy, Rad Resist, Ghoulish, and Solar Power perk can make you almost immune to radiation and even regenerate your life naturally with radiation. Want to get into something? Lockpicking and hacking will open new paths for you and unlock supplies that you normally would not be privy to. So, to say the least, this game has massive potential and replay value after 40 plus levels. I still haven't hit any kind of level cap, so the sky's the limit. But don't worry, picking the wrong special stats won't limit you. Feel free to put your perk points into whatever tree whenever you want later on. This can affect gameplay of Fallout drastically, but the game itself can be completed without needing any of these perks, and speaking of gameplay, the main objective of this game is to just survive. Regardless of how you do it, it's pretty simple. Encounter people, agree or refuse to help them, and find anything to assist you along the way. Guns, armor, ammo, food, healing items, drugs, everything is up for grabs in this game. Killing enemies and looting their bodies along with exploring areas can open up huge amount of supplies easily and quickly. This game relies on first person and third person's perspectives, along with a moderate amount of RPG elements, as stated before with the perk chart. This game is probably to be played in first person mode, but third person mode is still enjoyable for those who want it for that type of experience. The other biggest portion of gameplay comes in the form of talking to people. While speech and charisma are not as huge a part of this game like before, talking to people and finding out information is important in this game. So if that stuff appeals to you, Fallout 4 is a game that you must try. Since I have discussed visuals and gameplay, I suppose the audio is the next big point. And it is on point for this style of game. Post-apocalyptic music plays in the background, subtly, and as the adventure goes on, when there is combat situations, the music starts to get heated and will begin to play until it ends. Unfortunately, the radio stations are limited. The same songs will be played over and over and over again, to the point where you won't want to hear them anymore. Though fitting, songs like Atom Bomb Baby seem to be one of a select few. However, thankfully, the speech between the player and the people of the Commonwealth isn't terrible. Though it won't win any awards anytime soon, it's nice to know they didn't screw up the main player's voice. Controlling all of this is pretty easy and simple. The Pip-Boy interface returns, and the controls are fairly similar too, with the exception of how grenades work. Instead of being an individual weapon to use, it's bound to holding a key or a button on the controller to use. This works quite well, but interfacing with build mode by hitting the back button or third person mode button and holding it often results in multiple attempts to get it right. It's just easier to go and use the workbench instead. Other than that, the controls work very well and great, and I have little complaints. But as I mentioned before, build mode is something new that was introduced in Fallout 4. The ability to clear out settlements and attract others by reconstructing them is great. However, to say the least, if you're not using a PC, building will take a long time. Looting everything you find, finding what you need, having them at your settlements to build them up is annoying and really detracts from the game. Personally, build mode has lots of problems, from snapping to removing certain things like shipping containers. Build mode is pretty simplistic of a mechanic in the game. Mods will fix these issues in the future for sure, but they shouldn't have had to in the first place. Just know building isn't necessary to play the game, though for many quests, light building is required, like retaking the castle, rebuilding the Minuteman, and old guns. These quests require light usage of build mode to access and complete at the very least. This is annoying because many people say you never even need to use build mode, even though you do slightly. It's still there and it's still annoying. The PC version is definitely better for building, so keep that in mind. And the building system has almost no tutorials for things needed. Reference the old guns quest for tutorial issues if you're wondering. Most of the time it is explained well, but build mode is the weakest on this list. There is so much more to say about this game. The new companion system, building mods for your power armor, weapons, the depth ability to rebuild settlements how you want, quests, not to mention the change in the dialogue trees, weapons no longer degrade, along with how power armor works differently now. But the point of this review is just to highlight the main points of the game. This game caters to how you want to survive. Do you want to rebuild humanity with a companion, or are you the lone wanderer out for yourself only? Do you keep your trusty dog with you, or would you like to recruit more people to your cause? It's really a game about how you want to play, and I feel it does Fallout as a series justice. Overall, I give Fallout 4 an S ranking. This does everything that Fallout 3 did, but improves where it needs to, and adds the new building system. This is a must-play game at the very least. Rent it, somehow spend a little time with it, and you will discover if you like this game or hate it. And everything I could say in this review, either positive or negative, won't convince you unless you get your hands on it personally and try it. But don't take my words for it. I have my good friend Ed here to tell you about it as well. Take it away, Ed.
Hi, my name is TemPhoenix01 and Protomario has very kindly asked me to take part in a joint review of Fallout 4. Now before we begin, I must confess, I love Fallout 4. But I fell in love with the Fallout series starting from Fallout 3 in much the same way as Ash and Pikachu became best friends. At first the controls seemed clunky and I discovered some potentially game-breaking glitches. The Pip-Boy menu system felt like it was a throwback to the 80s and I hated it. But then I discovered VATS. This, incidentally, was the same time that my social life died. Fallout became this perfect implementation of old school real-time strategy and standard run and gun first-person shooter, although with a much deeper storyline than your standard FPS. The storyline itself forced me, the player, to make moral choices that I didn't always feel comfortable in making, due to the fact that I felt that they'd have some huge unknown impact on the world. And that, my friends, is the beauty of the Fallout series. And I'm happy to say, for me at least, Fallout 4 has not only continued that tradition, but it's built on it. If you want a game with depth, then this is the game for you. Yes, it still has many glitches, and navigation within the Pip-Boy menu can still be a pain, but due to the sheer character of the game, none of these niggles take away from your enjoyment of it, and in some cases, they add to it. Who hasn't found a funny glitch in a Fallout game? And because of that same character, all sins are forgiven. The graphics are not the best, but they're functional. The nuclear bombs look like nuclear bombs. And let's face it, if you're playing a Fallout game and graphics are the main thing that you're concerned with, then this game's not for you anyway. Although a change in dialogue choices has taken away some depth from the game, the new ability to build bases within Fallout 4 has added an infinite amount of potential stories to be created by the player. Each base can have its own character with its own set of issues and people. Watching your base being attacked and the people within that base fending off raiders and being murdered in front of your eyes can be a harrowing experience. An experience which, by the way, is totally optional. You can go through the entire game without having your own base. You can, if you so choose, just experience the storyline and still get over 50 hours of entertainment from the game. Also, incidentally, sending Dogmeat back to base and losing him can be very irritating, and Dogmeat is my dog, not yours. Get this game, get it now. Or when it's on sale.
So that is my review for Fallout 4. There are many pros and cons with this game, and I've had glitches crash my game multiple times on the PC, problems with companions, and quests not activate. But to say the least, the problems have been much less compared to previous games like Skyrim and New Vegas. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and leave a comment down below telling me what you think of the game. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy gaming. Thanks for watching my video and making it to the end. And would you please consider subscribing to my channel? By subscribing to my channel, you are not only supporting me, but also joining a community that is against stereotypes, lies, and fraud in gaming. I work my hardest to inform my subscribers of important stories that might affect them. From new games to important updates, the Mavericks are always informed. If you are tired of political correctness ruining your gaming experience, then join my rebellion, because PC isn't for me. And if it isn't for you either, consider yourself a friend of the Mavericks. Subscribe today and you'll be in good hands. Mavericks unite, and together we can keep gaming from falling prey to the people that would not only censor it, but also destroy it.